Everyone, welcome back to my tutorial series on a RAG powered AI application. This is part 16. And if you have been following from part 1, this is the current state of our application, except this MongoDB ingestion, which is we're gonna understand in our next part, which is part 17. But so far, we have an integration for PDF related unstructured data, URL based on structured data, and then we have a SQLite ingestion and the PostgreSQL ingestion, which is a relational database with the structured data. And now we are planning to integrate the MongoDB ingestion, which is we're gonna understand in the next part. But if you have been following this religiously, then we know that our code base is the entire logic is in this one file, right? Where we have a backend code as well as our front-end code. And the number of lines of code which we have written so far is 663. And there is a config.py as well. So what I thought is it would be a good idea to just refactor the code. This is the flow which we have. So we have a web URL-based integration PDF, SQLite, Postgres. Then what we do, we upload that. We just extract the data, create a chunk, build an embedding, and put it in our VectorDB. Then we use a LangChain, to just extract the context based on the query which we have. We just feed into the RERANK model to just increase the accuracy of the context. Then we create a prompt, and then LangChain actually makes a call to the Gemini-based large language model. And once, user asks a question, we get a response back. And this is what the current state is. But what we want now, right? This is how we started. This is the entire journey for our application to the current state, which looks like currently this, right? So what, as we have just did a recap, like in part 1, we understand basic, then we understand how we can load the data from PDF, then we converted our console application to the Gradio based UI application. We made it as interactive application, added a creation of a summary, we just created a summary for the entire content. Then we added, we can suggest a 5 best question based on the data content, and then we just added a RERANK model as well to increase the accuracy of a context. When we added a URL based integration, SQLite and the Postgres, and in the last video, we understood how we can set up a MongoDB with the powerful knowledge base based on the system design concept, question and answer. Right. So now the problem with the current state where we have, entire code in one file is readability and the understanding is code is a little bit difficult. Maintaining a one file for the entire code is not a good practice, not a recommended one, but we haven't realized that now our one code base file is too long to maintain and handle. Testing is also another, questionable aspect of that. Collaboration, nobody wants to just work on this, one large, code base file, right? Adding a new feature and enhancing an existing feature will also be a little bit difficult because we have to understand the entire code base. So it would be a good idea if we can just refactor that and modularize our code. So this is what I try to do it. I'm not going to cover the entire way how I did it, but if you just see the high level structure, what I have done is inside the main refactor code base, we're going to have 3 different packages: services, ingestion, and RAG query. In services, we have an initializer. I can quickly walk you through what we have. So this is the entire structure, which you can see on my screen, refactor code base. This is the ingestion. And ingestion, we have PDF ingestion. Then we have Postgres ingestion, SQLite ingestion, and URL ingestion. So what we have, whatever the logic through which we were, loading the data, creating a chunk and embedding and just putting in a vector database, that part I have just segregated based on the data source, right? So one file for PDF, one for Postgres, one for SQLite, and one for URL. This is what the ingestion is. So this is just related to extracting a data and putting in a vector database. And along with that, we are just creating a summary and the suggested question as well, right? Now, the next thing is the services. So what I have done in a services, we have an initializer, embedding utils, and the summary question. So basically, if I just open initializer, we have this initializing all the clients which we need to initialize. For example, LLM, embedding, we were having a one giant, function where we were deciding, okay, if we want an embedding, then we were just expecting one argument through which we were just deciding, okay, now we have to return embedding or LLM, right? But here what I have done is I have segregated all these functions based on what initialization we need, whether we need for the Pine client or we need for the LLM, or LLM or large language model, or we need for the embedding. Similarly, for the retriever as well, what kind of retriever we need. So based on that, I have just created an individual function. Similarly, if you just see the summary question for what we have done, all the logic related to the creation of summary and just extracting a best suggested question. This is the logic. This is the same logic. All I did is just created a separate function and put it in this on a separate file, right? Same with the embedding utils. Embedding utils, these are all the supporting function which we need for just creating an embedding and putting in an index, right? The last package which I created is a query engine. This is where actual logic is. The first one is related to the re-rank with Pinecone. So we know that why we have done a re-ranking model, because we want to increase the accuracy of our context. This is the main prompt which we are creating. All these functions were there in our main file, but now this is in a separate function in a separate file, right? So this is how the structure looks like. And then to combine all these packages, we have this main app, right? Here, if you just see now what I'm doing, I'm just importing all these ingestion and services. Okay. And then what we are doing, and we are just importing a config, and then we have only a UI related portion. Again, so logic is same. It's just that now we have extracted that. And now we are importing, individual file with the individual functions which we need to support all these data sources, right? So these are the import for ingestions, and this one is for the query engine, right? Okay, so now this is the config. Config pretty much looks same. So this is the structure, ingestion, rank, query services, and a main app. So now what we're gonna do, this is giving us the complete modularization of our code. And whenever we want to change something, this would help us to maintainability. This will increase the maintainability, scalability. If you want to just scale our code, we can easily do that. Testability will also be increased because we will be knowing which piece of code we are changing, and we can just have a very comprehensive testing around that individual file, right? We can do integration testing as well to ensure, but we will be having a more control on the very precise testing to be target or to cover. Same with the collaboration, because we can utilize the multiple developers now, because we have an individual package and we can have a different developers working on a different piece of code. So that's pretty much it, which I wanted to cover. I just created this video so that I can just give you the heads up that, okay, in the next video, when we are going to integrate the MongoDB, then this is the code base we're gonna use, rather than using a one single file where we have the entire code base with this 664 examples, right? So this is our application. Everything looks good. I ran this particular application with the refactoring code. The logic is same. Instead of, running from, the main parent folder, now we are running inside from the refactor code base, you can see, and now we are running the main app. Once we run this is what we get. Okay, so I just make it a theme as a dark. Now we have everything working fine so far, but we haven't tested with the data. That we're gonna see in a next video when we are going to just integrate the MongoDB completely. Right? So that's it from my side for this video. If you have any feedback or suggestion, please feel free to put that in the comment section. And if you really like this video, please give a thumbs up and don't forget to hit a notification bell so that whenever I will be publishing a new video, you will be notified for the same. And if you feel this video can help your friends, colleagues, or group, please feel free to share with them. And if you haven't subscribed for my channel, it would be highly appreciated if you can just subscribe for my channel as well. As always, thanks for watching this. Stay healthy and keep learning. Thanks.